About 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, and then I had a really early diagnosis of osteopenia and osteoporosis. So I was looking at those two things thinking, I need to change something, or why did this happen? I saw a nutritionist for a couple of years and things were going better, but then all of a sudden, things just started to change again. She knew me well and I trusted her completely, and when I just told her that things were changing, things that I always were able to eat, all of a sudden I can't eat them anymore and there isn't much left and I'm not sure what's going on, but I think there's just something going on. And she said too, I think there's something going on here and I think you should consider seeing Dr. Greg. Well, I had heard about Dr. Greg just a couple of weeks prior to that from someone else, and they had some pretty significant symptoms compared to mine, but when I compared my symptoms to theirs, I thought, I don't know that I'm a candidate for Dr. Greg because my symptoms aren't severe. And maybe it's my imagination that I'm just not feeling quite well. But I trusted Melanie, my nutritionist, I trusted her. And so I went online and started looking at Dr. Greg. So before I met him, I was pretty much doing the food route, which was very helpful, but then got to a point where this isn't working either. So now what do I do? My journey with Vitae was so positive from the minute I walked in here. Erin was at the front desk. I was early. She walked over from behind the desk and she talked to me the whole time. I immediately felt like this was the place for me to be. Of course, then I met Dr. Greg. Well, that was as wonderful and as personable. So he wanted to know the whole person, which I thought was another good feeling for me, like, ooh, I like this place because they really seem interested in me. He really seemed to have a passion for wanting to help me if he could. I signed up, and of course I did think, how am I going to afford this? But then I just decided that this is an investment in my health. So I started that journey and I didn't have any problems. And Marin, she was just on top of things. All those little things, all that education, it made me feel like they really care about me. Because I might have thought for a bit like, okay, am I going to be given a handful of supplements? Am I going to go home and maybe not hear from anybody for a month or two unless I contact them? And it was just the opposite. So it was a great journey. It went so fast, I could hardly believe that it was done when the year went by. And all those tools that I learned along the way, I loved them. So I think of Vitae as, I have this tool belt now, and it's a Vitae tool belt. And I know what to do when things don't go right maybe someday, or I'm feeling a little stressed. I just go to this tool belt that I got from Vitae, and there's something in there that I can use. I just felt so balanced afterwards. I felt very balanced. I was focusing better. My anxiety level had gone way down. My appreciation because of gratitude, that really changed. I was just thinking the other day, I was never able to finish a book. I couldn't focus enough to finish a book. I might start a book. I joined a couple book clubs just to make me read and finish a book. Sometimes I wasn't able to finish a book, or I'd have to start it over like 2-3 times because I just couldn't really remember what I was reading, so I'd start it over again. And I tried so hard to just really figure out what it was. That was most of my life though. I never finished a book in high school for English or whatever topic it was. I was supposed to read a book. I never finished it because it was too hard to concentrate. And it was about 6 months ago that I realized, oh, it's Friday and book club is on Monday and I haven't started the book. And I can now take a book on a Friday and within 2 days, I can finish that book. And it just dawned on me, wait a minute, I never did that before. What is that? So I just attribute it to detox and Vitae and just my focus and my memory. So just little things like that. I have a lot of energy and I've always been a morning person, but since this whole detox, I feel like I'm 25 again as far as energy goes. I'm ready for bed at 9 o'clock, but now, because of Vitae, I appreciate going to bed at 9 o'clock. And I know what that does for me to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I've learned so much. I am eating foods that I didn't eat years ago, that I didn't think I tolerated. So I think there's just been a huge amount of health with my gut, because now I can eat bananas again. What a treat to have a banana, or make a banana pancake that's gluten-free, and feel like you're somewhat normal eating a pancake, Well, if you're struggling, I can appreciate what that feels like. I know money is a struggle when you start thinking about going to a functional medicine doctor. I thought about money. How am I gonna afford this? Am I being selfish if I do this? I did decide at that point you have to make your health priority. You have to be ready to make it priority, because there's some work in, working with Vitae. You have to put some work into it. Your health is lifelong. Only you know what you feel like and what's normal. I want to feel good the rest of my life. There is work to be done, like I said earlier, you do have to put some work into it. But if you're ready, you're ready. You're ready to do that. And you just have to keep your focus on the end result. I just kept focusing on, what is this going to look like after a year? What am I going to feel like after a year? This is exciting. And I got excited with every step of the way. I had no problem tolerating any of the supplements. But if I did, they had a way of taking me through it a little bit slower. They just knew exactly what to do, no matter how that journey went for me. And knowing on paperwork and knowing from Dr. Greg's review of my labs what was probably going on, all I wanted to do was correct it. So if I was detoxing, whether it's heavy metals or parasites or whatever it was, that was exciting. That was very exciting for me. So.